Absolutely, man. I was really excited to hear what he had to say as well. I think he said the right words. But now, let's get started. So today we have a few guests. Today we have Tina and Bruce. Welcome. How are you guys doing today?
Good, are you?
Good.
We're really happy to have you guys here today. And just to get started, how long have you guys been Galaxy fans, and how did you become a Galaxy fan?
Hold on. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hey, I just asked the chat if they can see us. They can't see us. There they go.
Okay.
Now they see us. Now they see us. Now they see us. Now we
That's
live.
good. So I became a fan in, I think, 2007 was when they signed Beckham. I
Yeah.
think it's 2007. But Manchester United is the team that got me into soccer. So once Beckham signed, I started watching MLS more. And then 2014 is when I became a season ticket member. And then since then, I've been a season ticket member every year, except for now. I canceled my season tickets, hoping things would change.
Well, now are you gonna go? Are you gonna go get them back? Because it seems like they're gonna change.
I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
wait.
he's talking the right stuff. I'm saying he's talking the right
Yeah,
stuff.
I think I'm gonna wait to see what exactly changes.
All right. So I hear a mini pack. All right.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
And I've been a fan since probably 2014 is when I started to go regularly to games with my big brother.
Who's your big brother?
His name's Carlos, but I don't know if anyone calls him Carlos. Everyone calls him Oso. So I'm also his little sister.
Shout out to Oso.
And are you guys involved with any supporter groups, or where is it that you guys usually sit?
Yeah, we both are. I'm in ACB. I was an ACB board member for I think like three. That was my first away game. A game where Juninho scored in like the 68th minute or something.
The one that hit off the post.
Yeah, where we lost that game, but we advanced to the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just with that goal. That was
Yeah.
an awesome game. I saw that one on TV. Actually, just like Tina, I became a Galaxy fan at 2014 based on Landon Donovan. It was almost his last year, kind of.
Okay.
I was all like, you know what, I need to go watch him because I'm a big Donovan fan. And after that, I was hooked. I became a season ticket member holder after that, and I haven't looked back.
And from those places that you've been to away games, which is that favorite city that you've been to watch a game?
Uh, Either Portland or Seattle.
I was gonna say Portland or Seattle too.
Yeah,
I
I've
haven't
always heard
done it
both
today.
those. Yeah, I've always heard Portland and Seattle. I haven't been to Seattle. I've been to Portland, and I enjoyed it. It was great. But I still need to go to Seattle. And then now let's touch upon your favorite Galaxy moment.
It's yours.
It's in between the 2014 Cup, but I really want to say our first game against LAFC Seattle. That's just a
4-3.
fucking highlight for me. Yeah.
I,
I was so down the first half and I kept drinking, and then just seeing that comeback, it was amazing. It's something you can't forget that.
yeah, I think that's I think hands down that's probably one of the best Galaxy moments. but I usually try to choose a different one just because of that's like that one that everybody's gonna choose. But Manny, do you have any favorite Galaxy moment?
Favorite Galaxy moment, like at the game or
Anything
anything.
that's Galaxy related that pretty much stands out to you, something that you always remember.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be the LAFC game because I actually changed my seats that game. I usually sat at 235 up top with my family, and I actually changed my seats and I went right behind the bench, and I went from 4 tickets to two, so I could take my son.
Hmm.
And I think at that like around that time, I find it like, hey, I need to be a part of this fan base. So like, other than just being a fan, I want to be a part of a supporter group or be something more involved because I felt that I needed that. You feel it, you feel the drums, you hear the chants, you feel it, and then that's the day I was like, hey, this is a part of me, and then that's it. After that, I had to show my son that he needs to grow up the right way.
You know what? With me, I had been a season ticket holder before, but I had stopped. I think it was like 2013. And that year that we played LAFC at the game was the year I got my season tickets back. But I had got them when the season had already started, and that ticket was sold out. But they still threw it in, so I was sitting above Riot Squad. So just the atmosphere was crazy. Like I remember when all those Olas were going, and then we steal the ball and we score. I think that was like the best feeling because it was the first one, so we enjoyed it. But when the second one came and the third one, and then by the time the third one came, they seemed they were already scared. So when the fourth one came, it was just so enjoyable.
It was only
Um,
a matter of time.
yeah, definitely. But you know what? The reason we're pretty much here, let's get into it. Is we're here to hear a G love story. So go ahead and take it away.
So here, no, here I have a question right before you take it away. So obviously Bruce was here at the Galaxy games before that, and Tina, you came around. You said you came around 2014.
Mhm.
You guys never bumped into each other to a game before that, before your story.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, no.
Oh, I saw you at the Kings game,
Oh yeah, we saw
but we didn't really know each
yeah
other.
at the Kings Galaxy game in
Okay.
2017, 16, whatever year that was. But other than that, no,
2018 or 2017.
something like that.
One of those.
See, I told you that there's always two sides to the story. So mix it up. All right. So go ahead. How did you guys ever like meet up, or what was the first story? Love at first sight.
Long ago?
We met at a viewing party in Whittier. I went by myself because I just figured I'd see someone I know
Where was the viewing party at? I know in Whittier, but what bars?
at the Commoner in Uptown Whittier. So I went and I saw Carlos Silva from ACB, and I sat with him, well, across from him.
Shout out Carlos.
I met him at an away game too, actually. But then I was next to him, and I don't know what.
With my back to her because the game was on.
His back was to me, and I don't know what Carlos Silva had said about Carlos, my brother. And he turns around and he's like, "You're Carlos's little sister?" I was like, "Shit, yeah."
Because that was at that time. That's when I think it was early on in the season, and after the 2017 season, like the entire FO heard it from everyone on Slack, in the like leadership channels. And
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. But go ahead.
Yeah, her brother was like one day was just like, pretty much yelling at them through
Very
Slack.
vocal, let's say.
And I was like, "You're Carlos's sister?" I was like,
But what tone? With a soft tone or with a heavy tone?
"Nah." And I was like, "He talks a lot of shit on Slack, and I like that," or something
Yeah,
like
he said
that.
something like that, like, "Oh, he's cool," like he gives him a lot of shit or something.
And that's when he won you over?
Right? And then he introduced me to Kim and Jerry.
Kim and Jerry.
All he said was, I don't know if you know Kim and Jerry from ACB.
Yeah, I met them. That's what I said. That Bruce was the first person I gave my banner to with Kim and they were inside the bin.
Yeah.
Angel had told me to go ahead and go see Bruce. He was like, "Well, like who's Bruce?" He's like, "It's a bald white guy." I was like, "Oh, maybe that guy."
See, everyone thinks Kim and Jerry are my parents.
Yeah.
Because I'm always with them. I travel with them. I stay with them.
Is Romo your brother?
He's actually my twin.
He's actually a twin. Oh, shout out to Romo.
Shout out to Roman.
He's
the
actually
best.
his family's actually not from Mexico. He just took Duolingo.
All right, so keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
Oh, he was like, oh, this is Kim and Jerry. They're not my real parents. I'm like, oh, okay. We just talked at that game, really. And then what?
Is that the intro for Kim and Jerry? These are Kim and Jerry. They're not my parents.
They're not my parents. I was like, okay, nice to meet you.
But then that's when you were like, I'm gonna go eat across the street, right? After the game.
Yeah.
The game ended and like everyone would hang, a viewing party. Everyone hangs out for hours, and everyone started to leave, and we were outside talking. And she's all, "I'm gonna go eat at Bottle Room, which is like a little bar restaurant in Uptown Whittier."
Mhm.
And
Bruce was like, okay, bye. Enjoy your
I was
meal.
like, "Oh, you didn't eat here because they have good food. They have good food at Commoner." And she's like, "No, I didn't eat." And I was just, everyone was like, "Okay, bye. Go have like a nice dinner." And then like once we got together, she was like, "You totally should have came with me." And I was like, "You didn't invite me. Like, I'm not going to be some creep you met, that night."
Well, I think
That night?
I think that was the invitation. Like, hey, I'm gonna go eat over here. If not, she would have been just left. All right, guys, bye. I think the invitation was, hey, I'm gonna go eat over here. Come on,
Yeah.
Bruce.
That dinner by myself.
I still
Come
got
on.
her though. So,
I know, but you're lucky. You're lucky.
but after that, I think we added each other on like Instagram or something,
Mhm.
and then
What was the first
Oh,
LAFC game you think you saved my life?
oh yeah, I was over by the bin on the phone with someone, and you know how security is on LAFC game days.
Away days or home?
No,
No,
home.
at home. It was our first game at home, and I was on the Lars side tailgating,
Mhm.
and I was going through the back to go to the ACB side because I wanted to say hi to my friend Karina, and security wouldn't let me through.
And I was right there, and I was like, I forgot what I said, but I was like, no, it's like she could come through, it's fine. And I guess
What
that
the
I
hell,
think
security? They need that security's, out of there, man. What the hell's covering the two tailgate areas?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the back area where they connect.
Yeah,
Right
where
there.
the Michi guy be at.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the Michi guy.
And then we really started talking on Instagram, and it became like a all day, every day type thing. Or to the point where she'd be like, "All right, I'm going to bed. Talk to you tomorrow," and it'd be like you're going to continue the conversation tomorrow. Like, I don't know. It was just.
Was it those messages? Was it those messages like you go to sleep at 3 and you wake up at 7 and say good morning? I'm awake now.
I don't remember.
But we were just talking about random shit, and then what was the next? The concert.
The concert.
Yeah. With Eve and.
Oh
Silver.
yeah.
Who did we see?
Viernes
Did they
13.
say the ticket? You guys didn't say the ticket?
Because we had a viewing party on Wednesday, and we went to a concert, to a show on Friday the 13th to go see a ska band called Viernes 13.
Well,
But Eve had invited us out.
shout out to Eve. Congratulations on the baby.
Yeah, shout out to Eve. That was a shocker. So she invited us out, and I texted Eve. I was like, "Let me know what Tina says, if she's going or not." And
Why did you just ask her? You were on the DMs the whole time.
And then Eve was like, "Yeah, she's going." So I was like, "All right, cool, I'll go."
So you had to shave, huh? You had to you gotta look good. You put your best dress clothes.
Yeah. So we went to the show, and then afterwards, everyone went to some bar, and then we went to King Taco, and at that time there was probably like 8 or 10 of us.
I think Tina was testing you when she took you to King Taco to see if you were gonna like it or not. Like, this was gonna make it. If he eats tacos, this is good. If he doesn't, he's out. What is he gonna order? Tacos or what?
I was like, "Hey, can you listen for the number? I don't know what they're saying, so you have to listen for me." And then like everyone sat at a table, and it was just me and her. So we sat at a table next to him, and like we just started talking about like just random stuff. And then probably like, I don't know.
It was like 2 a.m. and I had to go to work at 7 a.m.
Yeah. So Eve took her home, then dropped me off. And then was it a few weeks later when I asked you out?
Yeah.
like we just kept
like a
talking,
week later.
and she posted something. She posted something about Adam's family viewing in I don't know the park's name. It's in Los Angeles. It's a huge park where they set up a projector, and you just bring like chairs or whatever, and you just.
There's a shitload of parks that are big.
Yeah, well, I don't remember the name, but she posted it, and I was like, "Oh shit! Here's my chance." So I was like, I just replied like, "Do you want to go?" And she replied, "Yeah." So we set, that night for the date, and then when was the Halloween Horror Night thing? A couple days later or something?
Yeah, a week after he asked me out, but like the week before our date. So he asked me out to go to the Addams Family thing, but it was 2 weeks ahead of time. So the next weekend, I was hanging out with one of my closest friends, Amanda. I Ubered to Torrance to go hang out with Amanda and Andrew.
Shout out Andrew and Amanda, but I know Andrew.
They're the best. And I got really drunk.
So the thing was, I went to Halloween Horror Nights. It was a Friday. So I went there after work and met up with Kim and Jerry and
Or not your parents?
who are not my parents. And I was going to work overtime the next day at 6 a.m. So I told Kim and Jerry, I'll probably leave around like 9 or 10 p.m. I'm not going to stay until closing, which was like, I think 2 a.m. just so I could go home and get some sleep. And it turned into the thing like, okay, one more thing. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just stay until 2 a.m. until it closes and just get a couple hours of sleep for work. And like the whole time, like we were texting, when she was with her friends and I was at Halloween Horror Nights. And I was like, all right, well, Universal's closing right now, so I'm gonna head home. And she texted like, come pick me up or something at the bar.
Asked you for a ride home.
Oh, yeah, asked for a ride home since we didn't live far from each other. And,
but Torrance is way far from Universal.
Yeah. And I was like,
it didn't have to make sense.
I think Universal closed at 1. And what's up?
They say love don't have a distance, so.
Right, yeah.
And she said the bar closed at 2, and I looked it up on the GPS, and I was like, yeah, I should make it. But like all the traffic, people walking in the cars and traffic leaving, I was like, I texted her, I'm like, I'm gonna get there at like 2:20.
Yeah.
Like, I could hurry. And she replied,
Did you sprint? Did you make a run? Did you start running down the parking lot? Like, hey, let me just run, go get the car.
But I told her like I'm gonna get there at 2:20, and like my head, I was like, fuck, like she's not gonna want to wait. She's gonna like Uber. And she replied, that's fine, just come pick me up anyways. So I was like, oh,
that's it, bro.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. If she waited, that's it.
So I showed up and I gave Amanda and Andrew a ride home, and then took her home. And the whole time she was the whole time she was singing Mana to me.
Which song? Mariposa or which song?
We listened to like their entire discography.
Or Me Vale.
Meet up with my friend Amanda, and we were drinking, and we were talking about like, oh man, we should have gone to go see Mana. We should have got Mana tickets. And me and her were like, well, you want to go tomorrow? Like, and we bought tickets that night to go the next day.
So you were practicing.
I was like on a Mana high.
Yeah, you were practicing your singing for the next day.
Yeah, I was super excited.
So we listened to them on the drive home, and then I parked in her driveway, and we just sat there talking about, just random shit until I think 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, like I gotta go. I got work in 30 minutes.
So you didn't even take a power nap, huh?
No, so I ran home, and I have a company van. So I changed and got my company van and went to work. And at the time I was living with my parents, and I worked with my dad, and I met him at the shop for work. And he looked at me, he's like, where the hell you been? Because he knew I didn't come home. And I was like, oh, I was just been out. And he goes, you look like shit. Because I had been up at that point.
Did you sing your dad Mana song? Yeah, Dad, look what I learned.
And I think at that point I'd been up at like 25 hours or something like that. And but I got to work and
Worth it though.
worth it. It ended up being the wrong like parts I needed for work. So they said just go home. So I freaking went home and knocked out for hours because I was exhausted. But then we just continued talking. We went on the date. I assume it went well.
Soon.
What's up?
I said you assumed.
I
It
assume
went
it
well.
went well. Yeah, we went on the date. And then what, 3 days later I asked you to be my girlfriend?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 days later.
She says I didn't ask. I was like, you're my girlfriend now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. See, there's always two sides, or three sides, right? Her side and the truth. You know, we have to look at all the Instagram posts around that day to see who tells the truth or not.
yeah.
It was fine. So a few months before.
Oh, wait.
What?
The day after I picked her up, I got Twitter DMs from her brother.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. Also, you gotta protect the system. I know that.
They were just gifs of like the Justin Timberlake one where he's just staring at the camera. He sent that to me and I replied like, what? With like a side eye. And he just sent another gif. And I texted her like, oh shit, your
It
brother's.
was also.
Wait, hold on. Did you tell also that you were gonna go on dates with Bruce? That's why
So what happened was.
How did also know before the whole?
Before our first date, technically, because since he took Amanda and Andrew home the night, that Friday night, the next day was a game day. That Saturday there was a game, and me and Amanda skipped the game to go to the Mana concert.
Oh yeah.
But then we Ubered to the bar after the game where everyone was drinking, and when Andrew saw me, he said, "Hey man, I saw your boy today at the game," and my brother looks at him like, "Who's your fucking boy?"
Oh, damn! Andrew hit you with the bus.
I was like, oh, by the way, Bruce picked me up yesterday, and he took Amanda and Andrew, and he's like, oh, you're talking to Bruce now?
But he sent that at like, it was like
We were at the bar. It was like 2
in
in the morning. Yeah, we were leaving the bar.
So when I got that, I was like, ah, fuck.
So
All right.
then he messages me, and he's like, your brother's sending me these gifts. Do you know why?
Man. Hey, luckily he found you between you, Malter, and Romo. He could have sent it to anybody. Who is this guy?
Well, I had known her brother like a little bit before that, just dealing with leadership stuff and dealing with Lars and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think like I said, you guys were part of leadership, so he was part of leadership when I met him. So it makes sense.
But yeah, I mean.
So did you ever talk to also, or like, hey, you know what? I'm into your sister. I wanna live into it. You gonna go the traditional way?
Dang, he's not that respectful.
No, but it's good though. Yeah, I think overall, all of us as Galaxy fans, since I think a few of us know each other, it was pretty awesome seeing you guys together. For me personally, I'm like, hey, I feel like they're opposites attract. And it's also because you guys are on both sides of the side of the stadium.
Yeah.
And now out of nowhere, you guys are together. And now I wonder how game day is for you guys. How do you guys, prepare each other for like, me for like a party? I'm gonna say hi to my wife's family. I'm gonna say hi to my family, and then I'm gonna be with my boys, or you know what I mean? How is it now for game days for you guys now? You guys make your rounds around the stadium? Do you guys have time to watch the game or cheer?
I guess we're gonna find out
Because we only been just one game, right?
Yeah, home opener this year.
And the season.
And then the season,
the world exploded.
weren't allowed.
How did you guys handle that game opener? Half and half?
I think we just went to our tailgates, like did our own things. And in the first half, we were in our sections, and then at halftime, I went over to Lars to hang out with some people, and then I went back over to ACB, like at the start of the second half or something like that.
No, but at the tailgate, you came to say hi to everyone on the Lars side, and I went to the ACB side too.
Yeah,
but what's funny,
you gotta make your rounds.
Yeah.
What's funny is there was a game the day after our first date. So I got there and I walked over to Lars to find her, and I like hugged her, and I brought her over to ACB because she knows quite a few ACB people, and we were there in the ACB's tailgate for like 15 minutes. Like we weren't holding hands, we weren't like cuddling or anything. and I had to go inside to set up a tifo or something. And like 5 minutes later, supposedly everyone knew we were together somehow, even without us saying anything. Someone like started telling everyone, and we were like, "What the
Hey,
fuck? How?"
you guys removed that security from that bridge.
Yeah.
That was the move. That was the move. You guys moved that security out of the way and be like, hey, this bridge is a flow back and forth.
But yeah, a lot of people were, I think, surprised when we ended up together. And then everyone was making the joke about like, oh, is this how ACB and Lars becomes one?
Yeah.
Like, are you guys the two to bring the?
They were calling us Romeo and Juliet at first.
Oh, that's awesome because I think we were talking with Kevin. He's like, "Hey, you never know. That's probably why, because there's so much history there. But it's so loving. Like I told him, this I like it. I like the story. I like the the Romeo and Juliet story. I like the, I don't know. I just like it. And it's interesting to me when I heard a part of you guys' story. So now listening to it makes even more sense. It makes even more interesting love story.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, Kevin. Sorry.
And now, basically transition a little bit. What you guys do? Manny was telling me that Tina, you have a Etsy store. Can you explain how you got started and what is it that you sell online on that store?
I just like making things and crafting. So I started like in 2017. And then I just tried Etsy in 2018. And I started basically selling glittered mugs, like custom mugs.
Mhm.
And then for the holidays, I do a lot of glitter ornaments.
Oh,
But
that's really cool.
Hmm?
That's really cool.
I want to learn how to do more things and just keep expanding.
Yeah, 'cause I think I had seen your ornaments. I think you had posted somebody bought my something ornament. I was like, well, that's pretty. I didn't know she did that. And then you posted of I think somebody else posted of the Galaxy one that they bought from you.
Yeah, my friend Leslie bought a lot of sports ones from me.
Yeah, a couple Galaxy fans bought from her this year, which was cool.
I think our Galaxy community, once we find out like who's makes stuff or who's actually works somewhere, so I think our Galaxy community comes together and actually supports each other, and that's something I love about our Galaxy. Whether it's $2, $5, it doesn't even matter. I think our Galaxy community comes together and supports, and keeps. And I think it keeps you going to be like, hey, what can I do more? What can I learn more that they're gonna like?
And that's kind of what I want. I want to make more G's things this upcoming year. But yeah, for Valentine's Day, I'm making like these Spotify frames. And when I posted it, like 4Gs messaged me and they wanted to buy them. So speaking of the community, I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I actually liked it, but don't tell my wife. I don't even know what song to pick because I could go R&B and I totally be wrong. I should have gotten like freaking ranchera or something. I'm like, damn, shit, I never win.
So I've got a part of us talking before we were dating.
It's probably how we started messaging every day.
When we weren't like talking every day. So the first time I met her, do you guys know the Bootsy Collins song? I wanna be with you. Do you know that song at all?
Yeah.
Commoner was playing it.
Maybe you want to give a little karaoke so people can. Maybe people in the chat don't know that song, so maybe you want to give like the little chorus, so they're like, "Oh, okay." Remind
Just look it up on Spotify, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Ooh, that's one spoon of mayo.
Yeah. The Commoner, the bar was playing it, and she was like, kind of like sitting in her chair dancing when we were all like talking after the game. And I was like, I know this song, but I can't think of who it is. And I like said it out loud to the table, and she replied with the answer. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like, I don't know, a week later or something, I was listening to the song because I like the song. And you know how you could post a song on Instagram from Spotify, the whole share thing to your story. I was like, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna post it to my story and see if she responds. So I posted it.
That was like a little Arlo Bo move, huh? A little dedication out there to Tina without her knowing, huh?
Right? Yeah. It worked.
It was a little fishing thing. So I posted it and she responded. And I was like, oh.
She probably danced to the song. She's like, oh.
But yeah, I posted it and she responded, and then we started talking from there.
Damn, Bruce, I didn't know you had those type of moves.
That's smooth.
Then
I got
Eric says on the chat propose, and then Scott says what Eric said, put a ring on the man's finger.
On the man, I really should.
Hey,
Have
I don't
you
know.
seen what he cooks? So
Hey, after that picture you posted, I don't know. You should be checking a little bit more of the Discord of Cosmos because that's just a preview of what's going on in that Discord.
something's a little fishy, huh?
Correct.
Like Scott's trying to steal me. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
And
but
I've been wondering why Bruce has been making more vegan dishes, and I didn't know why until right now. It kind of makes sense.
Totally makes sense. But
Hey,
you know what? I'm telling you right now, Bruce. God is mine because you know what? I wake up in the middle of the night and I have dreams. I actually message him and he responds back to me. You stay out of his DMs.
hey, he's giving me silverware. So
You're too changed. No, based on what you said right there, I think can I have a little bit of question about your culinary skills?
yeah, but before we get there, Scott was saying that he missed the window order from your Etsy. How does that work? When are you gonna be taking orders again? Because I'm pretty sure NEGs that are listening to this maybe might be interested.
I'm gonna open it up maybe next week with just the Spotify frames, because right now, I mean, all that I had on there was the ornaments. So now Christmas is over, I gotta just transition into just more current crafts, basically. So I
Okay.
might open it like next week.
All right, perfect. So that'll be an
Make sure you tag
opportunity.
us.
Huh? Oh, it's tinamadethis.com.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll grab a link and put it on the description as well for this live stream. And then Bruce, I was seeing that you had a pop-up restaurant. How was it that you got started with cooking and stuff like that?
back when I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16, I would stay home all day and we got cable for the first time ever. And for some reason, I just would watch the Food Network like all fucking day.
Right?
What? You would
You
have
get,
like
you get
you.
people and you become obsessed with the Food Network.
See, I've always been like obsessed with food.
You
Always.
wouldn't watch like MTV,
Nah,
BO, BET.
no, because I didn't like that music. Like it's on MTV.
So what you like? What they call George Foreman Fryer? This is what we're gonna do.
So I would watch Food Network literally like all day, and back
That what is that called? The chip challenge or whatever? That
Chopped.
Chopped.
Yeah, like Chopped and stuff. But back then there was a lot of like actual cooking shows where they would actually teach you stuff instead of like now it's just a bunch of like game shows. That's all it is now. But I would just watch it, and I was like, and I wanted to become a chef because of it. And I started cooking more and more, and then I found out like how that industry treats its employees and like how overworked and underpaid that industry is. Especially back then, it's a lot better now, but back then you would work freaking 80-hour weeks and get paid like $12 an hour. It was like, it was just horrible working conditions. So I didn't go that route, but I continued cooking and just like watching YouTube videos, reading cookbooks, stuff like that.
We have a lot of cookbooks.
Just trying different things. At one point I got into like the science aspect of food, like why certain things go together, stuff like that. And then like my parents, what's up?
I have a question. What do you think is your best plate?
Is the first thing I cooked for her and the first thing at the pop-up, which was pork belly tacos. So I'll tell you what it is in a second. My parents are very like meat and potato, very plain when it comes to food. So when I would cook, it was just like I'd make this like big meal, but it was just for me, and I could only eat so much of it, So I always had this idea like I want to invite people over and just have like dinners like once a week, once a month, whenever. And I always had that idea, but I never actually did it. And then we got together, and I think I brought it up to you or something. And she's like, well, why don't you just do it? And I was like, well, I don't know, like, I don't know, some excuse. And she's like, just do it.
Yeah,
So
and I think a couple
what?
of
Number one fight
G's.
them.
No, and I think a couple of G's signed up. Even I signed up, but I think something had came up. But I had signed up twice, and unfortunately, the two times that I was supposed to go, something else came up.
Yeah. So the um, the idea behind it was a 3-course meal. It was going to be once a month, a 3-course meal, and the menu was going to be different every single time. So um, the first one we did, it was all people I knew through the Galaxy, all came.
And one of my friends. Jeez.
Oh yeah, and one of her friends. It was actually at her mom's house. We cleared out the living room, put tables in. She was pretty much like the waitress while I was cooking everything. That went really well. That menu was actually kind of hard because like the dessert I can't make ahead of time. As they were eating the like main course, I was making the dessert, trying to get it done by the time they were finished with the entree. And then everyone that was there shared, you know, pictures and stuff like that. Oh, when I announced, it's called Athena. When I announced Athena, I had never talked to Chris Tucker from Lars. I never met him, nothing. And he posted it on Twitter just on his own. And I finished in 24 hours, I had like 210 followers or something like that. And pretty much just because of him.
Big shout out to
Like,
Chris.
that's
Big shout out to Chris.
Yeah,
he's a very a G oriented person. I really love him. Yeah, I think he's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's the type of community we have. Like I had never met the dude, never talked to him, and he just did it because I'm a Galaxy fan. And he is, you know.
Yeah.
So why the name Athena?
I'm really big into like Greek mythology and stuff like that, and Athena plays a big role in Greek mythology, and I just like the name of it. But I did like all the graphics myself. The first pop up, like I said, it's 3 courses. I wanted to keep it at $35 each time because I felt like $35 for a 3-course meal is, you know, pretty damn good.
Insane.
That's pretty good, and then you get to see the chef cook it. So that's almost like a show.
Yeah.
Like Benihana's.
Yeah. So the first one was bacon wrapped dates, pork belly tacos, and then the dessert was a Mexican chocolate souffle with vanilla ice cream.
Tres leches or what? Mexican chocolate. You can't talk fancy to me, bro. I'm not.
No,
I eat tans, burgers. You can't talk to me. You gotta lower that standard for me.
What's the Mexican hot chocolate? What's the? Yeah.
Abuelitas, that's bomb right there.
Yeah, I mixed that into a souffle batter, which is just like I guess you would describe it as like a super airy
light
cake.
Yeah.
So it's like a chocolate cake, but with the Mexican hot chocolate spices. And then everyone that was there posted pictures, tagged me. And then the following month, I posted the menu, which was an Italian soup. I can't remember the name of it right now. Was it? Oh yeah, pesto fagioli. Then the entree was brown butter Italian sausage pasta, and then dessert was tiramisu. And I posted that menu, and within 10 minutes, it sold out. And
it was all G's too.
Yeah, all Galaxy fans again because of what people posted from the first time. They were like, "Hey, I saw pictures from the first time. You know,
we saw your Yelp review. It was pretty good."
Yeah. And then once it sold out, I think that's when you DM'd me. Once it sold out, and I had so many messages where I was like, "It's sold out. Like, you have to wait for the next one." And I was shocked at, how many people were interested in it. So
doesn't that like kind of like inspire you when people like are interested in your stuff and you're like, man, what else can I do better? What else can I top this one and how quickly this, not necessarily like to sell out, but like, hey, people are interested in my food and something that I'm passionate about, because I'm pretty sure you don't see it as oh, this is a job or this is something. You're looking at something that you enjoy to do, and then if other people can enjoy it with you,
Yeah.
I think that's the best part.
It was
And
super fun.
and the first one was only 8 people. I didn't want it to be like a huge gathering. I like the with food. I like the intimacy of like getting together with people and like talking.
Yeah.
So like the first one, pretty much everyone knew each other. The second one, I don't think anyone knew each other really.
No.
There was a married couple. There was two of her friends, and I don't
And
remember.
Daisy.
Oh yeah, Daisy was there. Um, but like everyone sits at the same table. You're sitting like this close. So I like the whole, meeting strangers, eating food, like experience type thing.
Laughing, talking,
Yeah.
hanging out.
Second one went great. Um, then I posted the menu for the third one, and that was supposed to happen March.
No, it was gonna be February, but we canceled it because it was an away.
Oh yeah, it was gonna be late February, but I canceled it because it was on Miami, the Miami away game that a lot of people went to. So I pushed it to March 7th or something. And that week leading up is when COVID ramped up and everyone was like, it looks like we're going to go into a lockdown.
Yeah.
So I had, I think, 5 out of 6 people reserved. And I messaged them. I'm like, hey, because what I did is I made people pay half up front just in case people no-showed. I wouldn't be, screwed out of money for the ingredients. So I messaged them. I was like, hey, I'm going to cancel and postpone Athena for now, just because of the whole COVID thing. I'll send you guys back your reserve money and everything like that. Here's my sous chef.
Yeah, Remy. We promised Remy on the show. Look at him now.
Finally.
But yeah, I messaged them. I was like, I'll give you guys your money back. Don't trip and anything like that. And that's when everyone thought it was going to be 2 weeks and then everything back to normal.
That's what
full does. Here we are.
Yeah.
And you still have the ingredients?
What's that?
You still have the ingredients?
Nah, I ate all the ingredients.
I was gonna say,
But like people that went to the first and second one have hit me up and been like, you should do takeout. But my whole thing with it is I like I said, the whole community aspect of it, sitting down with people.
And I think that what makes it special.
Yeah.
I think some restaurants, that what makes it special, the experience and actually meeting new people. I like that. I like going to places and actually meeting new people that I've never met, and you never know, you can find something in common.
Yeah. But people have asked for takeout, or people that went to the first one have asked me to like remake the first menu for takeout. I've thought about that. It's just, I don't know. I like the whole sitting down aspect with everyone. So I plan on doing it once COVID is over. When that is, who the hell knows at this point, but yeah, it went well. And it was funny, like, since I had to come up with the new menu every month, there'd be days where like, I'm like, fuck, I don't know what I would try to like theme it, each time. Like the second one was a strictly Italian food. So leading up, I'd be like, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to cook for the next one. And I would try to think of 3 things that go together. And then lucky her, she got the taste tester for everything. I would test a recipe and be like, here, try this. Tell me what you think.
So once COVID is like over, hopefully soon, what's your ultimate goal? Like, how big would you like this to get?
Oh, that's tough to say. Like the first one was 8 people. The second one was 6 people. I would like to keep it between like 6 and 8 people up until I find people who I trust that can make the stuff along with me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like
not me.
I know there's like kitchens you could rent out that seat like someone sent me First to Five sent me a place in LA that seats like I think it was like 25 to 30 people. Which that would be cool to do, but I obviously can't do that all by myself. And
We're even gonna need another waitress for that.
yeah, as of right now, I don't
No,
know.
I think you're right because I think between 6 and 8 people, you get to serve them, and it's your food, and it's your love towards the food.
Yeah.
Once you expand it more, like you say, you bring more people involved. Now you have to like watch over them to make sure they do exactly the way you do it, and I think that's the difference between a pop up and a regular restaurant.
Yeah. Well, it's like how many times do you see a business that's small that makes an awesome product, and once they expand, the product goes down because it's no longer the head person watching over it. You know what I mean? So I would like to make
Pollo Campero.
I would like to make it bigger, but I gotta find someone who I trust to cook alongside with. You know.
If you need somebody to look like you can put Romo to cook with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I take the dishes out, during the whole dinner, I have like a playlist playing. Both times were like a hip hop oriented playlist because that's what I listen to a lot of. And then I would pause the music, and when I would set the dish down, I would like tell them what the dish is, like the ingredients, stuff like that, just like as a like little intro to the dish. Hey, get down.
Would there ever be a Athena's pop-up shop at the ACB tailgate?
I mean, that's not up to me. It'd be cool. There was going to be something that happened last year as a off-season like meetup thing that someone hit me up, seeing if I would set up pretty much like a taco stand there. It doesn't have to be tacos, but just for example. And it was going to happen.
Tacos. I love tacos, bro.
Yeah, it was going to happen, but he couldn't find a big enough spot in LA that they asked for a fortune in LA to rent out a spot, and he was like, it just doesn't make sense financially right now. So once COVID's over and everything starts back up, most likely something like that will happen.
You know what? And now to transition a little bit into the gaming side, we were seeing and that you participated in the USL E Cup. How was it that you were selected to compete, and how was your experience?
Adam Serrano, the writer for the Galaxy, I talked to him quite a bit, and he knows we had the whole Liga G thing going on with Cosmo and the whole. Because when Cosmo started, it was very like people playing characters, people making videos, stuff like that. I was streaming on Twitch for the Cosmo games, and he just hit me up and he was like, "Hey, USL is doing this E Cup thing. Would you want to participate?" So I said, "Yeah." And I don't remember who it was on G2, but he was my teammate for it. So I would play 1 week. Then the next week he would play, and it had a whole promotion relegation thing depending on how you did the week prior, and then it went pretty well. But I'm not a great like 1v1 FIFA player. I'm much better in like pro clubs,
Yeah, I think you're the best second CDM after me.
I'll take. Hey, can you hold one of these up though?
I did touch him first.
But it went well up until like we got into the better groups, and then those guys were just way better, But it was a fun experience, and I think they stopped doing it because of COVID or something like that. All I know is they stopped it and it never picked back up.
What do you think they wanted to pick it up more because of COVID? The opposite.
I mean, that's what I thought, but they ended it like a few weeks into like the whole COVID thing.
Now, here's $1 million question. How much did they pay you for doing that?
How much did they pay me?
Yeah.
I signed an NDA. I can't disclose that.
Now, see, like the first time I actually caught eye into pro clubs was pro club times. Tina doing the interview with Bruce. That's the
All right,
first
it's
time I
just
ever
Pro Club
caught.
Times, everybody.
The
That's the
face.
No,
first.
no one has seen her.
I've
That
only
was the
been
first.
found on the microphone.
That was the first time I ever got caught up with pro clubs. And then
Oh,
I was
really?
like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, what are they talking about? I didn't know anything about it.
See, I bought it. I didn't have a PS4. I bought a PS4 just for Cosmo. When Scott posted it, I was like, that seems like a fun thing to do now that we can't freaking do anything or go anywhere. So I went out and bought a PS4 just to play with him.
Did you
Yeah, actually.
you on the first one in the first interview?
Yeah. Because what happened is Jamie posted a video of the roster selection.
You didn't make it, right?
No, back when it was the whole like draft setup. And I think me and Hammer posted the video like minutes apart. I think me and him were the first people to like make videos like that. And I made like just a joke video talking about how I just got done training and I'm disappointed to, not make the team. And then at the end, I said something like, now for my post-workout snack or something. And it was a spoonful of mayo and I ate it. Yeah.
And that's when we heard the ill. That's when we heard the ill from Tina.
That's how I got the nickname. And then I think a few weeks later, I did another video eating another spoonful of mayo.
I think we did like 4 and then we stopped. Yeah.
Because I think we stopped because that's when Liga G popped up. So it became actual like teams and started getting serious rather than like joking around.
Yeah,
I had fun joking around.
It's still joking around, having fun. But now it's like you actually represent a team, not an academy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still fun, but there's definite like more seriousness to it,
So I have a question for Tina, because obviously, when I became into pro clubs, I was going through without the Galaxy, without going to game days, I actually lost myself, like going through depression and stuff. And I didn't know what to do. I kept walking back and forth. I looked like the guy from Narcos, just standing outside at the, at the door, watching to see who's gonna come by. And that's when I actually found pro clubs, and I went to go buy FIFA 20. I didn't own FIFA until like FIFA 15. I think that was the last one I owned. Obviously, my girl like, "What are you gonna do?" Like, well, I'm gonna play pro clubs. And I'm gonna learn how to play this with Eddie and the Mag Boys. That's why Brochus out started, and she was like, "I'm pretty happy that you got yourself back in a groove." But then when she saw that I was getting very serious about it, she's like, "I think you're taking it over." I was like, "I think you're taking it overboard. Like you're sleeping, thinking everything about the team." I'm like, "Well, I don't have the Galaxy right now. I gotta think about that." How did you feel? How did you feel when?
How much?
How did you feel about?
Other?
How did you feel seeing him from actually having fun? Now that he sees like, oh, this is serious now.
You know what? I liked it because I follow everyone on Twitter, and seeing it escalate on Twitter, I just laugh with it, or like I'm like, oh my god, they made a video to announce someone. This is so fucking cool. Like, just seeing it grow, I really enjoyed it. And then while he like practices or plays, I watch something else. It doesn't really.
Did you enjoy his championship bonuses?
Yeah.
This guy throwing some vegan burgers out there.
And I have 2 of the Cosmo jerseys too. They say Pro Club Times on the back.
Oh, that's awesome.
The crazy thing about it now is like at this point, like the work Albie's doing for Pineapple graphics.
Yeah, he's badass.
That's like, it's straight up like social media stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's insane. Like, internet connections.
But a big shout out to Albie for hooking it up, being a part of the board member with that.
I was gonna ask Albie to make a video of.
Yeah.
I think it broke off.
Can you repeat that a little bit? Because it broke off.
Can you repeat that? It broke off.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Bruce, stop moving so much. You're taking up all the internet.
Oh, my bad. I think say your thing again.
I said I'll be to make a video to announce when Bruce was leaving Cosmo SC for Barcelona.
Oh, is that
Not
something?
happening.
What? I thought he was a Rhino, so he's going to Barcelona. What? What is that?
No.
You in the chat, Andrew? I just got. Andrew's probably crying right now if he's getting Bruce.
Shout out to Samoa Bob for always DMing me like, "Hey, do you want to come over yet? Do you want to come over?" And I was actually going to play with them in that season 2 tournament thing, but I decided not to play, just not play at all, just take a break from it, because FIFA to me is very frustrating at times.
I think to all of us when we lose.
Yeah, it becomes not fun very quickly. You know.
You know what? I think with us, we're serious, but at the end of the day, I think even if we win or lose, we just start joking around, and you're like, we'll be back at it again. You know,
Yeah.
that's the point about it. To lose yourself for that 1-2 hours into, I guess, the virtual world of the pitch.
Yeah, but see, I was on Cosmo, so I'm not used to losing. So I don't.
Well, you guys lost against to us, right? Good thing we didn't make it. Good thing you guys didn't make it. We didn't make it to the final because I think we had your number already.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys on with the Rhinos. Nothing's gonna change.
Yeah, season 3 is gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting because you know what, we're talking with Kevin. You know, I think as much as I love Scott and the Cosmos and you know what you guys brought to the league, you guys dividing yourself, it actually makes it a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
'Cause two half of the team left each other, and they're both championship teams, so they're gonna want to develop championship caliber teams. And I think our league has broadened up their games. Not every team is easy. Not every team is like predictable anymore. I think everybody's learning more. So you can't take no days off because any team can actually beat you now, or you can get smacked. One of
Yeah.
the two.
Like to me, I don't know who the hell the favorite is for season 3. It's so up in the air.
You would think it'd be Beer Belly because they actually score up the board, but I think people start catching on to learning how the way they play. Because there was, I guess they gave us like the beginning part, like we didn't know who they were, how did they play.
Yeah.
And I think now playing against them and learning, and I think that's the best part is we're learning how to play with each other as a team and competing against other teams, and I think that's awesome.
It's like we played Barcelona either last night or the night last night.
Last time.
We played them 3 games, I think, 3 or 4 games, and they've improved a lot. You know, from.
So Bruce
2.
likes what he sees, and he's considering going over.
Nope.
He's considered doing that. What is it? That one time apology transfer.
I'm switch. Nah, I'm with. I came up with the Rhino Pills name, or excuse me, Rhino 96 name.
Well, do you use them? Do you use them that way?
No comment.
So here's another question: how do you feel now that every season, it gets bigger and bigger, and it gets more G's involved that are not even part of, even Liga G. You have sponsors from, Counter Cold. You have 1-2 Threads, Ryan Hernandez, Jesse Peña, Luis Vela Art. You have Common Corners. You have all these guys that want to participate. UFC, the LA Galaxy now is trying to got involved. The Godfather has reached out. How do you guys feel that is actually growing as the e-gaming community? Because you have the Riot Squad one-on-ones, you have the Liga Galaxia or the Xbox, you have the Liga G and PlayStation, and then obviously you have the Godfather and the EMLS representing us. So I think all of that makes us a community. But now I see that it's growing more than it was, let's just say, pre-COVID.
Yeah, like it's. I've talked to Scott multiple times about how it's insane to think what he started it as just like he likes playing pro clubs, so he's trying to find more Galaxy player fans to play with, and he was saying like the first time he posted on Twitter, they agreed to like a date, and he didn't even know if people would show up to play, and I think he said it was like, and then now it's what's it at 8 teams?
We're at 11.
Teams or, or 11 teams.
11 team at like a 15 man roster. You're looking at more than 150 players.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
They got the whole Cosmo 1, 2, 3 draft setup to. I mean, you're the one that's.
What happened?
You're the one that started the league. No, we had a pop-up thing. You're the one that started the league, didn't you? Like you had the idea for it, right?
So once I actually saw you and Hammer, that's when I actually DM'd the Cosmo event, and I told him like, hey, what if I don't join and I just bring in a rival team? You know, Scott was like, oh, we'll be into it. So that's when I actually hit up, the Nag boys and try to form a team. and I told him like, look, between I think first of five, Alex also had an idea like we should do a tournament, we should do this. I'm like, hey, there's a potential of a league if we can find at least 4 teams. We actually ended up finding 6 teams, and then from 6 to 9, from 9 to 11, potential 12. And then I think Scott took it to another level, obviously, with the whole sheep tracking, and he's the organized person. I would I would never be able to do all this without Scott. Scott is the organizer behind everything. I'm the PR guy. Yeah, that's what I think of myself as a PR guy. Tell me what you need. I'll go figure it out. I'll find it. I'll get it done.
Yeah, like on the Cosmo Discord, the days leading up to the games, he would post like, say we would play like pineapple bets that week. He would post clips of like, all right, this is where we can attack pineapple brats. Then you post another clip like, this is what they do on an attack, so watch for this. Like, he was doing actual like video work, like actual teams do. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize that is like he was actually putting in
video editing. Yeah, video editing. He was when you talk to him based on pro clubs, even if for him just showing up for a game just to have fun with you, you can tell that he's trying to master the pro club game, and I think I admire that, and I take that as a challenge, even as a player with Galacticos. I am always communicating, and I'm like, we need to get this better, we need to do this better, and then even Kevin was all like, hey, this is different than when we were playing on any other team. This is demanding. This is, you need to play your position because you need to stay informed. If not, you're going to be benched. Simple as that. You're not cutting it, you benched.
Well, it's like he would have like a game plan strategy for every single position for the upcoming games. Like, he'd say strikers do this, midfield do this, defenders do this. And like me and him, like, since we played next to each other, in the CM positions, like we could like not talk the entire game, but we knew what each other were going to do. So we would play like off each other, like nothing during games.
So how do you feel that now? Like, obviously season 2 we had sponsors by G's, and then season 3 is gonna be sponsored by G's also. And I think we have some awesome ass awards. I hope I win something. But man, I'm tired of fucking not getting nothing. But hopefully this time I get something. I think me and Kevin have some goals, so hopefully we accomplish it. But I think we have some awesome awards coming in. Obviously we're trying to get more players in, so that we have the Liga G Combine.
Yeah.
Coming out. Like, look at that. How much are we growing? Getting some rookies inside there to get practice.
We played with one last night. One of the guys that is taking part in the combine thing.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's crazy that there's an actual like plan, like, hey, you want to join this league, but you don't know how to sign up and like play with the teams. It's crazy how big it's gotten.
So, Tina, are you gonna be wearing your Liga G jersey when we do MLS at the games?
Yeah, I'm gonna be interviewing people.
There you go. Oh, that'll be awesome.
Other team members, not just Bruce.
Hey, so you're gonna take your comb around, right?
Yeah. It's something different each time.
Yeah, the first time it was nothing, right?
No, it was something. I think it was a comb the first time.
I think it was a comb the first time. Then I don't know.
Burrito.
We did a frozen burrito.
Yeah.
I've got what else?
Probably a lint roller.
Lint roller.
I don't know. We just gotta keep finding new things.
I would try to make funny stuff. You know, if anyone that follows me on Twitter knows I'm not serious like 99% of the time.
Have you seen? Have you seen? Or you haven't seen the trophy, right? Hopefully, one day you guys get to see the trophy live. I know a lot of people haven't seen it, but this trophy that Moses Arroyo made, it is massive. It is like a replica of the MLS trophy. It is
The
awesome.
the season 2 one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't. I've just seen pictures. I haven't seen it, but it looks really good.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big, pretty heavy.
Yeah,
It's nice. Hopefully, it comes back to us season 3.
we'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
Talking about season 3, how do you feel with your new team?
Great. I mean, it's pretty much it's what me, Gilbert, Geo, and Peltz from Cosmo. So I mean, right there, there's 4 players that know. Like I said with Scott, like we don't even have to say anything. We know how we all play. So it's not like joining a brand new team with all new players. And
How do you
then
feel that he left to Pineapples? Obviously, your rivals that you guys have met them a couple of times at the and playoffs and final. Um, what is that? Scott left to, like, that's like leaving to Lakers to Boston. You know what I mean? You're leaving to the person you meet at the finals. You can throw shade. Don't worry about it. He doesn't know. He's not on the chat.
I was surprised that he joined Pineapple. You know, I thought he was going to join Barcelona.
He didn't want me.
But I mean, you probably won't win anything at Pineapple Rats, but hey,
Ooh.
good luck to him.
Shots fired, Scott. You're not winning nothing.
He's going to be like slot down every team he left. The next year he won the champion. That team won the Champions League. Do you know that
He
stat?
probably didn't like that when he actually came to play with us. I told him, like, he has to try out. It's not even you have to try out. Just because your name is Scott don't mean nothing to us. You got to try out.
Yeah.
He didn't like that, so that's why he probably left.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
Sorry.
talked about the combine. So anyone that's interested, there's a Google Sheet to sign up, and that's going to be taking place tomorrow, right, Manny, at 8:30.
Yeah,
And then
tomorrow 8:30.
and then just to touch real quick on Liga Galaxia, the Xbox League. Pretty much yesterday was game day as well, and one of the games I was able to see was Star Lords. They swept Guardians of the who was it? Good.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, and they're in first place. Star Lords is in first place right now with 17 points, and right behind them is Cosmo SC. They had a bye yesterday, so they're just 3 points behind. Another game that I was able to catch was straight from the stands. I was able to catch the first game. Pretty much they lost at the
I caught
last
the third
second.
game. Yeah, I caught the third game.
With that first game, you know what, they were playing well. They were touching the ball pretty well. They just got unlucky. Towards the end of the game, they tied it to go to overtime, and right before going to PKs, they received a uh a a goal coming from a corner. But what did you see in that third game?
You know what? Actually, with I don't know if Bruce watches the Liga Galaxia, but I was watching straight from the stand versus Galáctico Escuadrón or Escuadrón Galáctico. I think it's hard because the leagues are different and they don't play with it any, and they were playing. I think they had 9 or 8 people straight from the stand, and I think their AIs were kind of like hurting them. I think we sometimes some good teams can exploit those AIs, and
The AI in FIFA is garbage.
yeah, so you know what I mean. So it's hard. So it's hard because as much as you want to tell him what to do, that fool does whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
It all depends on how you try to hide him. Your formation. I think that's the hardest part in in FIFA, I guess, when you're playing pro clubs. If you have AIs, you have to learn how to hide them and how to change formation. And even with 8 players, I think they gave them the game, but Escuadrón, I think, like I told them, like in days before, that they have pretty good forwards, and they exploited that AI like nothing, and I think that would hurt them.
Yeah, they won that series 2-1. And talking about AIs, man, I know when I play center back, that the center back AI, he's playing in the midfield. He's like a CDM.
Dude,
So yeah,
the
it
AI
makes it.
center back was like freaking striker. I don't understand like how they programmed it like that. You'll see a
Yes,
center back just starts sprinting upfield.
So
yeah.
they're in the second part of the season. I just want to give a shout out to Boat and Vic. The stickers came through. Kevin, I have yours. These are some badass stickers. Look at that. Liga Galaxia coming out with stickers. They have a if you buy a sticker, I guess from them, you're entered into one of their jerseys raffles. And if you go look at I think it's Star Lords, they have some badass design. They they're affiliated with Pineapple Brats, so Pineapple Brat has some pretty good design. So they also have some pretty badass design. I like their I think it's black and teal jersey or black and pink that they're raffling out if you buy one
I
sticker.
think one.
Yeah, it's nice. So buy a sticker, support. And I've seen a sneak peek of what they're coming through, and man, shout out Starlords, man. They're putting in work.
Yeah, and then
And
on
and I think
Tuesday,
Vic
January
is
12th
Star
is the
What
is
happened? What happened, Bruce?
I was saying I think Vic is Star Lord's designer. So shout out
Yeah,
to Vic for all that stuff that he makes.
yeah. Badass, man. Badass talent. He has some talent.
and then on January 12th is the next game day. It's match day 8, I believe it is. Chonchos is going versus Guardians of the Galaxians. Star Lords versus Cosmos. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup. That's 1 and 2 right there. If
Game of the week.
yeah, if some way Cosmos could sweep them, they'll tie them for first place. I believe for goal differential they'll be second, but that's a perfect opportunity to pretty much get a little closer, and if they want to get that first place. Then we got Escuadron Galactico versus Effort, and Straight from the Stands is gonna be on the bye. Straight from the Stands as well. They're pretty much a point away from a playoff position, so pretty much almost every team is still alive. Guardians of the Galaxians, they're 4 points away, so if they could pretty much sweep Chonchos, that would put them closer to a playoff position.
I think as much as we want to see Cosmo versus Star Lords, it's gonna be a number one or number two. I think they're gonna learn as much as they can off of each other to meet playoffs. But I think the game to watch is gonna be Chonchos versus Guardians of the Galaxy because they're fighting for playoff spot. And since Straight from the Stands is on the bye, they're gonna get jumped by one of them too,
Yeah, because if
right?
Guardians could sweep, they'll tie Straight from the Stands. And then depending on growth
So
differentials, I'm not sure what's the tiebreaker for Liga Galaxia, but they if they sweep, they'll be able to tie Straight from the Stands since they're on the bye.
so that puts some pressure on them to make sure that they finish off strong because they're in the second part of their season and as of right now teams got to buckle down and every point counts.
Yeah, who would have thought that we were gonna be talking about like a pro clubs like real life, right? Like man, the Galaxy's 3 points away from a playoff position. But talking about more e gaming, the Godfather, he participated on the EMLS qualifier games this week. And he finished on the top 8 because he had to finish top 8 in order to advance to the next round. I believe that's taking place next week. So he finished with a record of 4 wins, 2 ties, and 2 losses with a goal differential of +10. Some of the wins that he had was versus Nashville 4-0, Colorado 2-1, Inter Miami 3-0. There was a draw versus LAFC. So Manny, were you able to keep up with what was going on with the Godfather?
They didn't really stream it. I hit up Adam Serrano and I told him like, hey, where can we watch these games? Obviously to support the Godfather, and he told me that these were pretty much just they were just matching against each other, and then they add those scores. I'm happy that he actually got to Series One and actually qualified in top 8. Um, the next time they're gonna be streaming, I think they're gonna stream these games. So if you're from Liga Galaxia, Liga G, Riot Squad, FIFA, show up, show some love for the Godfather. He's showing some love for us. Trust me, he is, and I know from the backside that he is. So I don't know if Bruce ever met him or ever talked to him about.
No.
No, I've talked to him. I've never met him, but I've talked to him via DM, and he seems a very cool guy. And he representing us, and he is a Galaxy fan, and he does go to games. So I mean, shout out. Hopefully, he comes up and wins that Series One. That's we need a trophy, something to celebrate. Even if it's the EMLS, I'll celebrate that shit. I'll celebrate. I'll go downtown,
Something.
fucking wave my flags everywhere.
See, Bruce, you participate in something similar. How is that experience? Like, do you get nervous, or how does it feel? Like, how do you prepare to participate in a tournament like that?
Well, for the USL one, when Serrano contacted me, I thought I was going to be playing as the Galaxy, and so did he. So I was just practicing with the Galaxy online over and over, and turns out they did a random drawing of international teams for that tournament, which I got Sweden, who I knew nothing about.
You couldn't get Ibra?
No, trust me, I checked the roster. But I mean, I just practiced with Sweden a bunch online and like got to know the roster in and out. But I mean, like for game days, I'd get nervous because I was streaming on Galaxy's Twitch for it because the USL required them to stream it. So I'd get home from work, play one warm up game, and then just go straight into it.
Yeah, you made it to the playoff. Right? I think you played against. What did you play that you lost to? That were
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. Yeah, it was an orange team. They were like, "Man, these guys are fast." You were like, "These guys, I can't do nothing with my Sweden team."
Yeah, that matchup in FIFA is horrible because Sweden pretty much has zero speed on the entire team, and Ivory Coast is nothing but speed. When you look at their roster, it has like Pepe and other guys like that who are just freaking sprinters, pretty much.
No, they make sure. I was gonna say big shout out also because I think you raised some money. Also, you guys had like a little charity event too. Also,
yeah, I forgot what charity it was, but yeah, there's a charity thing going on during the stream.
All right, I think Philip Ortiz asked, how many teams are there for season 3, and what are the chances of getting into a team? I'm assuming he's talking about Liga G. I'm gonna talk for Liga G. If you want to join a team, follow Liga G on Twitter. You can add them. We have a combine tomorrow. You can tag me at Manny_2G. No, Manny2_G. Where teams are going to be scouting out players. There's tryouts per teams. You can go try out by teams. Shit, you can even create your own team if you meet the requirements.
And also, Philip, what position? Because right now we could pretty much give a little shout out in case any of the managers are pretty much watching this, and maybe they could get you into a team as well. And same thing, the combine going on tomorrow. Now let's talk a little bit of the Galaxy. After so much silence and just rumors, this week, finally, we announced a coach. Greg Vanney was announced as Galaxy head coach. Bruce, what was your opinion about the Galaxy getting Greg Vanney?
That if we couldn't get Brian Schmelzer, that's who I wanted as coach. I was going to be shocked if Seattle let Brian Schmelzer go. So, I mean, Vanney's a former player and knows like what the Galaxy can be and should be, and he also turned Toronto into not a dynasty since they only won one cup, but they went to 3 cups and 1 Champions League final, if I'm not mistaken, while he was there.
Yeah, but that one cup was a treble. They almost went for 4 cups in 1 year.
Yeah,
and then
Seattle, who had 0 shots on goal, but
and they lost to Seattle in the finals 2 times.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm excited. I don't know how much control he had in Toronto in terms of building that team, but the fact that he was able to turn that team into consistent playoff and title contenders is exciting to me.
and he's known to be pretty much a team builder. Manny, do you trust that he could build this team and pretty much turn around the team and make us be a little more consistent? Because I think that's important, and that's kind of what he had in with Toronto, is that his teams were very consistent. They were pretty much in the playoffs every year.
Uh, Based on what I saw in Toronto, based on what I started thinking about, I actually started thinking about that today. You know, a lot of people are saying that we need a backup striker, right? A lot of people agree on that because Subak he has to show that he can be that backup striker and in a consistent basis. And
What are you
we
talking
don't
about? Show me another striker that could do that 360 spin move he did.
know. He, he actually had backup strikers that they developed under Toronto for Jesse Altidore when he was hurt. You know, even now they have that young guy that's I guess an American, and now I guess he's gonna play for Canada. I don't know if his name is Anelko or and something like with an A. So he has had backup strikers, and they have been producing. So that shows that he puts pressure on their forwards to score. If not, you play bench. You know what I mean? The player, I think he understands the best player plays, even if it's striker, midfielders, um, and he demands consistency. Even though Michael Bradley got paid, but he was pretty much at every game. He didn't really miss a lot of games. You know what I mean? For being the captain, for being the motor of that team, it's important for your captain, for the person that you put in the armband, be in every game and show up and makes and puts the team forward. And I think that he brings that.
What's interesting to me is, to me, this roster is complete garbage. So to see what he's able, I don't expect like anything crazy the first season, just because how bad the roster is. But come like his second, third season, I mean, that's where I'm really going to be like, all right, let's see what he can actually do. You know?
No, based on the conversation that I've heard from him and we've had, we actually, a lot of us had talked to GBS and could hear from him, obviously off the cameras and so that. I was be like, hey, if you get the coach from Seattle, if you get Greg Vanny, if you get Piojo, if you get Turco Mohamed, there is no wrong in those four, right? The top four, there is no wrong. But actually think they picked the right coach because I think Piojo will be a little bit more like GBS, meaning like, hey, I need this player. If you can't give me this player, then don't get mad at me if I can't win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think Greg is more like, this is the characteristics I want in a player. I don't care if he's a top player. I don't care if he's a bottom player. I just need these characteristics of a player, and I'm gonna make it work. And I think that's what we need right now to build a foundation.
And talking about foundation, pretty much, Greg said that pretty much he's looking to build the team from back to front. Looking for center backs and CDMs, and of course, we didn't have a first string goalie. There's rumors about the Galaxy signing 27-year-old goalie Jonathan Bond. He hasn't really played much in the first team. What I've seen, I think he's played like FA matches, from the FA Cup. But what do you guys think about that? Are you guys surprised that they decided to go with a goalie from abroad instead of within the league?
Uh,
Uh,
Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead. You go first.
I was shocked when I saw it, just because to me you could use that international spot on an outfield player, and in my opinion, I would go with Klinsmann as the starter for the next season. I think I think the games he played, he didn't show anything like horrible, and I don't think any of the goals were his fault. It was just the defense was just garbage, and I believe that goalie from is it West Brom, I think.
Yes.
Uh, I don't think he's played like an actual like league game or anything in
No, just
since
FA
like
Cup.
2017. Yeah, and I mean like if you're playing the FA Cup, you're backups. Like no one cares about the FA Cup. So I
That's
mean,
and that's what I think right there. Let's say, well, he's not taking an international spot. Corner of the Galaxy said
No.
that he has an American
oh,
passport.
oh,
So
I
he's
didn't know
not
that.
taking that.
Okay,
So he's not taking that. He's 27. He's 6'5". He's playing abroad. And you have Klinsmann. I think he's 24. I'm not 100% sure.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that, right? He's young, and he's looking to get paid for a contract, right? Then negotiate. Let's say the Galaxy gives him a 3-year contract, right? And they gave, I think, a 2-year
A
contract
2 year.
for 2 year for Bond. Now you're putting two guys to compete for that first spot.
Yeah.
They're only gonna get better, and you can have, let's just say Bond comes in and he's a starting. Yay, you know what, Klinsmann, you're gonna play U.S. Open Cup.
Well, see, I didn't know he wasn't taking up an international spot. Now that I know that, I mean,
That is competition within each other. They both want to start.
yeah. Well,
You
now
know-
that he doesn't take the spot, like, I have no issue with the signing.
Klinsmann didn't have, like you said, they didn't have that many bad errors that we can see. That was his fault. But then he also didn't play with a full stadium of people pressuring. You know,
Yeah.
home and away. So you know what I mean. So all that kind of changes too. When you don't have nobody pretty much behind your back yelling at you and demanding stuff, or you know what I mean. You feel the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, whether it takes time for you to understand not to feel that crowd. You know, as a young person, I know he was playing at Germany, but he was playing on the Germany too, right? So you may not have the same crowd that you might have here at a packed prime time game.
So do we assume that the Galaxy brings Jonathan Klinsmann as not necessarily the backup, but to compete for the starting spot because he's not under contract right now? So do we assume that the chances are pretty high that the Galaxy brings him back?
I think that Galaxy would be stupid if they don't bring him back, because one thing that we've been inconsistent of is having goalies after Penedo.
Hmm.
And right now you can have this 20, let's just say you can have this 27-year-old compete with this 24-year-old for the starting spot. Let's just say the 27-year-old gets it, he gets his 2 years, he leaves. Now you have 2 years for that youngster that he already developed. So you already have maybe 4 to 6 years as the goalkeeper securing this.
I think they should just re-sign Bingham and have him at the starter.
Oh man. Bro, we already lost all our viewers. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if Bingham's back from DC or not. So
Hey, bro.
no comment.
No comment. There you go. No comment. But yes.
And then this brings us to the soap opera of Pavon versus Boca. Pretty much, Pavon was supposed to show up on January 1st, and he didn't. He showed up until today. Pretty much, Bruce, what do you think? How much do we try to negotiate with Boca? When does it become time to move on and look for another DP?
Well, I think personally Boca was asking too much for him, especially with the whole COVID year. You know, if you look at the entire world when it comes to transfers, transfer fees are going to be way lower than what they should be for players. And what they originally want? They wanted like 20 million or something, right?
Yeah, that was a buyout clause.
Yeah, to me that's stupid, like amount of money for him. If they could have gotten him for 10, that's a perfect number in my opinion. But like you said, eventually you just have to give up and start looking for other options. What those options are, I haven't seen any rumors. But yeah, like if Galaxy's set on 10 million or 9 million, whatever their number is, and Boca wants more than that, it's just back and forth. You got to give up.
Yeah, I think Brian said, Brian from Nag Boys, shout out to him. I think he said, tweet out, like, Pavon's a great player. Pavon's a top talent in the MLS, but he wasn't the MVP. He wasn't that. He was the best player we had in the Galaxy. Now, for us to pay those 20 million, maybe too much. And I kind of agree on that, because it is COVID season. I mean, COVID year, and then for 10, you're gonna pay 20 million for. I think he scored what, 11 goals,
10 gols, 7 assists.
10 goals, 10 assists, 7 assists. You know, that's a $10 million player. You know what I mean? We didn't make playoffs. I'm sorry. As much as I like him, as much as I want him, I don't think the Galaxy should break rank. But one thing that he might learn from the Galaxy is how to fake an injury So when he goes to Boca, he might have a little groin, a
No,
little
it's back
hamstring,
injury.
some calves. You know what I mean? You can't detect that. And then it's stupid for Boca to think that you're gonna bring in a player that played at a whole different league, like Pavon. He's talented, and he's gonna start for your Copa Libertadores. You're gonna change the whole system around just because you bring in that player.
And pretty much, Jose says that there's some breaking news, and we are aware of the allegations against Christian, but since they are allegations, we're gonna try to stay away from that for now. But Manny, would you trust Greg Vanny with a DP spot if Pavon doesn't come back to the Galaxy?
I think if Pavon doesn't come back to the Galaxy, they should buy, extend Jonah to a 10 deal to give Greg Vanning 2 DP spots, or look to sell him to America. As much as I love Jonah, you need to give Greg Vanning the best opportunity he can to win. Obviously, in Toronto, he used his DP spot on a forward cam defensive midfielder. So maybe just with one spot he go get a cam. Who knows? But like I said, you want to give him the best option he has to get us into playoffs. I think the ultimate goal for us is to get into playoffs, to show some light at the end of the tunnel.
I was
And
going
then
to say the same thing
go
about
ahead.
either buying Jonah down, but in my personal opinion, we should have sold Jonah last season when his stock was high, and there was the rumor of him going to Club America. And this past season he only played I think 20% of the games, which is, I believe his injury rate is the same. It's either the same as his brothers or Romain,
No, you're
but
right.
no,
Yeah, I
but
think
no
Tucker.
one. What's that?
I think Tucker had put out the tweet that he played the same amount as Gio has in the
Yeah,
last years or whatever. And I think the only difference is that he's very lovable and he's very
yeah,
like fan engaging, and he comes out and he salutes the fans, and I think people forget about the product on
yeah.
the
I was gonna,
field.
I was gonna say no one really. There's some people that bring up his injury and his uh, game time, but it's nothing like Gio or Alessandrini when they were here. And I think that is because people get you know, um, like rose glasses, when he does come out and salute the fans and stuff, they're like, oh, this guy's likable. But when it's a
And
player that,
he is.
yeah, he is. But when it's a player like Gio who doesn't interact with the fans and stuff, then everyone's like, oh, fuck this guy, sell him.
And
But
actually,
I
you
mean,
know what I mean? It's totally the opposite the Alessandrini had. Alessandrini's a very lovable guy too for the fans, and I think he got hurt and people were tired of it. And I think Jonah gets that pass, and I don't know why. If you look at the minutes and the product that he's doing, when he's on the field, yeah, he makes a difference. But that's when he's on the field. If he's not on the field, he's not making no difference.
yeah. But I think now they pretty much have to, if they want to do something with him, I think they have to buy him down. I don't think there'll be a transfer, mainly because who do you bring in to replace him? Perry Kitchen isn't anywhere near his Jonah's skill level.
Yeah,
Oh
and
no,
and
but
Perry's not under contract right now as well. He's one of the players that's I believe a free agent. He's out of contract. But Greg did say that one of the positions they're looking at is at CDM. So I think they are looking for options, maybe to team up with Jonah, or maybe they're already thinking about when Jonah does leave the team.
no, I was thinking that he's thinking CDM because look at the minutes, look at the productivity. You're having a Perry Kitchen that was getting paid good money and couldn't get the same productive as Jonah did. He was there, he was available for most of the part, but he wasn't a Will Trap. He wasn't
Well,
a Ring. And these guys were free agents and they didn't even go after them.
I was gonna say the only couple of days ago before Will Trapp signed with Minnesota, the only thing I could think if they did sell Jonah was to sign Will Trapp, who, in my opinion, is just a bang on average MLS player. He's not as good as Jonah, but you open up a DP spot by getting rid of Jonah. Will Trapp is an expensive player. He's better than Perry Kitchen, not as good as Jonah.
Correct. Look at what look what Nagy did. He went from being a winger to a box-to-box guy, and he is
Yeah.
almost like that CDM that controls that ball.
Yeah.
He stopped being that flashy guy and just became the guy that just controls the pace. And he did well when he transitioned that to Atlanta, and he did well when he did that in Columbus.
Yeah.
That's what we're missing. And I think for us, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna get a lot of boos, and I think that's our Sebastian Legit. He could do that.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm the only person that thinks Sebastian Lletget was actually underrated last season.
Yeah, I think so too.
To
He was
me,
available. He scored. He was playing every position that you asked for. He doesn't lose a lot of balls. It's just that he was placed in the wrong position that he can't play. He's not a cam.
like
He's
to
center
me,
midfielder.
to me, like Pavone was, I guess, the best player last season in terms of like goals and assists. But if you look at like each game throughout the season, to me the most consistent player was Lletget every single game, because Pavone is a very plan A and plan A only type of player. If his plan A doesn't work, he doesn't have anything else. Pavone can't pass for shit. Like that's the thing that surprised me the most about him is he could beat players one-on-one, all that. But when he actually gets a good defender and they stop his moves, when he tries to look for a pass, it's hardly ever accurate.
Yeah, I think that changed when Fabio left because obviously when you're missing a natural cam that's able to control pace on the team,
Yeah.
and you have like I'm sorry, you have Legit that as much I think he did great for us, as much as people give him shit for being a cam and actually being a top scorer and being available for every game. He's not a flashy guy, and then your 10 is always that flashy, thinking out of
Yeah.
the box and trying stuff that other people may not want to or see. I think Pavone, that's what he misses to get those one-on-ones. Because other than that, he's gonna get double team, and then that's it. He's done.
Yeah. And I do agree with you that Lletget isn't a cam. He should be.
He should be playing next to Jonah on the bottom. For the ball.
He can't play out wide anymore. He's not a winger like he was when they first joined the Galaxy. He's not a cam. He's not creative enough to be a cam player.
Let's accept it. Like when he got hurt playing winger, I think it was like his Achilles or something that he had to get surgery on his ankle.
It was a foot injury.
Right. When you're at home for like a whole year with Becky G, what do you think he'll be doing?
Evidently cheating on her.
No, but you're gonna lose your mojo, baby. You're gonna lose your mojo. You're gonna get gassed out that whole year. You come back, you bulked up. He got a little bit heavier. He's not as fast no more. He's not that.
Yeah, when he first joined the Galaxy, he was actually kind of elusive on the wing.
And they were playing a 4-4-2.
Yeah, but yeah, now he doesn't work at all on the wing.
No, he's a center midfielder.
And now pretty much we are in 2021, so I wanted us to pretty much set New Year's resolutions for people in the Galaxy organization. For example, Chris Klein. My New Year's resolution for Chris Klein is get out of the way and just let Greg and take care of the scouting. Bruce, any New Year's resolution if you were Chris Klein?
Resign. No, actually, it's the same as yours. Like, actually give Vanny control and let him rebuild this team. Klein only has one more year, right? This is his final year on his contract.
I believe it is, but what I was thinking is if the team starts improving this year with Greg, I think that automatically extends Klein. Hopefully not, but that's the way I see it. If they see that this is working so far.
That was gonna be my question right there.
But yeah, like I think he has to let Vanny do his thing. I don't know if it's so much Klein or higher up people that are still stuck in the whole like MLS 2.0 type thing, where like if you look at the signings like Gerard, Cole, Zlatan, Chicha, who else am I missing? Like older superstars.
João Pedro.
That's a whole. We can have a whole conversation about him, and I want to know how they discovered him. But I feel like whoever's making decisions on the players is still stuck in that mindset, like, oh, we could get old superstars and still dominate the league. The
I
league
think
is the league isn't that anymore. The league is young, talented players, like a lot from South America and stuff like that.
I think Klein's betting on Greg to put on a good show for us because he only has a couple of months, half a year left on his contract. He wants to get a renewal. Um, Whoever's making those decisions, whether it's him, above him, I think he's gonna fight to let these guys do it so he can get a contract extension.
Mhm.
Because if you're gonna go get this guy and contradict everything he's doing and you're still gonna get fired,
Yeah.
like you're in a lose situation, right? All your bet is like, hey, these guys want me out. Let him do his job. Let him put us in a playoff position. That's all we want is be in a playoff position, right? We're not asking to be first place. We're asking like, hey, we want to be in the middle of the pack of the playoffs. And if he's there, people are gonna be like, hey, we're going on the right way. So why change captains? And
Yeah,
he gets another 2-3 years extension.
yeah. I think Klein is depending on Greg's success. I think they go hand on hand. Now that brings us up to DTK. For me, before hearing everything that's going on, it was bringing Pavon back. I'm not sure if you guys have a different resolution for DTK.
I mean, I know there was a lot of hype when the Galaxy hired him in terms of like who he is and his connections. I would like to see him like actually show that stuff. Like everyone talks about his connections, but in my opinion, Pavone only happened because of GBS.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What if it already did happen, but we don't know
What's that?
that he did what they brought him to do? Bring in Chicha.
I mean, and if that's was his role, then
Right? What if I tell you, Bruce, like, hey, Bruce, I know you're in contact with it. I know it's far fetched, but I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna give you a GM position. But within the 3 years, I want you to bring me Chicha because he was I guess the who MLS wanted. You know what I mean? And he did that. Is that not go accomplished?
well, I'd say I have a hard time believing that just because
Why? Because he doesn't sell jerseys. That's not our motto.
no, because I know a player that the Galaxy have been going after and are most likely going to sign. Well,
Well, break it down. Shit.
hang on,
Let it go.
hang on. Let me
We're within
rephrase
family. We're within family. Let us know. Shit. Beep, beep, beep,
it.
beep.
It was going to be certain up until a year ago, but because something happened, I'm not sure if he'll ever come to MLS anymore. And I know DTK had nothing to do with that deal. I know he was hired after the Zlatan deal was done in 2015 or whatever. It was agreed upon before he went to Manchester United. He went to Manchester United to prove himself, and the Galaxy had already had an agreement with him that once he was done at Manchester United, he would come to the Galaxy. So in terms of DTK being the person that brought Chicha, I would have a hard time believing that.
Now that we're talking about Chicharito, Manny, resolution for Chicharito.
As a U.S. fan, I was optimistic when they first signed them. Being a G, I'm like, hey, anybody that plays for my club, I'm gonna cheer for him. All right, I'm gonna hope him the best. Obviously, we had a tough year. He had a tough year on the pitch, and I guess obviously off the pitch, which everybody's entitled to have their personal life, and if anybody goes to work and say that their personal life does not affect their performance at work, you're lying, because that does run through your head no matter what and what situation it is. Whether it doesn't matter, it goes through your head at work. With that being said, at the end of the day, you have to perform. So he needs to show what he shows when he's wearing that Mexican shirt. That's what
So
he needs to
play
show
with
for
passion,
us.
basically.
Play with
Play.
passion. Show guts. I don't know what team we're gonna have. We all understand that he needs a team to build around him to score. He's not gonna do it by himself. He's not that type of player. But if he's a player that's showing passion, showing heart, and running every game, and actually fighting for every ball, or you know what I mean, showing that he's actually wants to be here, I'm okay with that. He didn't show that last season at all. And he gets one pass. And if by summer window he hasn't showed me anything, I'll be done.
Bruce, any New Year's resolution for Chicharito?
Fire his life coach.
Join Liga G. Join Liga G.
Yeah. I think last season, obviously he did look heavier than he usually does, and did look kind of like unmotivated. But like Manny said, that could all be off the field stuff, and he even brought that stuff up. Was it last game of the season? I think talking about how that stuff was affecting him. So based off his Instagram, how he's been like working out and stuff like that, I think he will have a better season. I would like. I don't think he's the type of player that will score over 20 in the MLS. He's not that type of player. But to me, it all depends on what happens with the roster, who they bring in, possibly as a cam or a playmaker. Because the best way he plays is someone to link up with, someone, he's not like Zlatan who just makes something out of nothing. He's not that type of player. He's never been that type of player, never will be. So he needs someone, like a perfect example would have been Fabio. But he's always been great at like linking up and just being in the right spot at the right time. But last season with the off-field stuff, not really having a right winger at all, not having an actual cam, just all those excuses. If the roster gets decent, I could see him scoring over 10 goals.
So if he scores, let's say 15 goals and let's say 6 assists, will you consider that a good year, or what does it take to pretty much forget this first year?
I mean, I would consider that a great year for him, personally, because the most he's ever scored in his season period, I think, is 10 goals at Manchester United. I believe that's his high.
I think he scored 12 at Luricus, right? Something like that.
I know he hasn't scored more than like 13 this season or something like that. But
I'll take 10 goals and in playoffs. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That'd be a successful season for him. 10 goals and playoffs, because then it means that, he's back in it. Now the next season is only going to get better, because obviously we'll find out how to play and how to service him. And hopefully he gets from 10 to 15 at that job. But 10 goals and get the team into playoffs.
And then going back to the thing I said about the Galaxy possibly signing a player, but might not now because of what happened a year ago, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out who I'm talking about. It's a superstar.
Messi?
Nah.
That's the only superstar I know.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right, so pretty much we're getting.
Okay, hold on. Before you say that, now that you say about based on that TTK, let's say GBS are like, hey, go get these players that I want. He found loans. He found a way to bring in players that maybe DTK, GBS wanted. It just he couldn't, with all these rules and regulations that MLS has. GPS probably like, oh, I don't know how to do all that. And then he's like, hey, I'm finding loans. I'm finding these players for you, but I can't bring everybody you want. So pick whoever you want and let me go get them. And I think he brought in quality. We just didn't make it work. Like, everybody that left the G is winning championships.
And then we see the players that came in. For example, Polenta, he just won a championship. But Polenta, Fabio, I feel those were players, if we would have had them that second year, he could have built off that playoff appearance. And it just didn't happen. They weren't able to come back. Certain loans that players couldn't come back for a second year. So I feel GBS did with what he had. At some point when we had available 5 subs, who can he put? Because we would give him issues and problems because he didn't make subs, but who did he have that could make a difference?
Correct. And all the DTK's contracts that he had with Shelvick, what he had with John Pedro still on the books. Everybody was still on the books that he didn't even bring in.
Shelvick's
And
still in the books right now. I
no,
believe he
they sold
just
him. They sold him.
no. I think he just went signed and I think he's just on loan basically. But he's
God damn
still
it, man! Is that for the Bobby Bonilla of the MLS for us, or what? He's just gonna
yeah.
get paid for
So
like 10 years.
But that
Shelvick,
brings us. Yeah, I think he just
I don't
signed with
think
a
I think
team.
he should be off the books now,
I
if I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe if I'm not mistaken, I heard on Corner of the Galaxy that he was still on the team, and I think this might have been his last season. But I know he just signed with a team, so hopefully he's gone for good. But bringing on, we're continuing the theme of 2021. Some predictions for the Galaxy. My prediction for 2021 is I don't know if there's gonna be crowd or no crowd, but I think the Galaxy is gonna have a home playoff game. So that means we'll finish like top three in the West. So I know that's a little far, but after hearing what Greg said, I'm all positive right now. Manny, any predictions for 2021? Could be anything about the Galaxy.
I dream for MLS Cup, but I think in reality we're gonna be in fifth or sixth place because based on what Greg Vanny says that he wants to ramp up that defensive side, and I think he show what he said. He's showing going out to go get a keeper, and I think that he's gonna get Klinsman and he's gonna make them compete for that starting spot.
Bruce, any predictions for 2021?
As far as the Galaxy, I think they'll show a lot of signs of something good, but I don't think it's enough time to turn this team around to make the playoffs. I think they'll miss out on the playoffs by like a couple points. I think there's going to be games where like kind of like the Galaxy last season, how they were on fire for what those 3-4 games, and then the defense like was non-existent. I think that's going to happen this year just because I don't see how he can change this roster to the point where he can make them a playoff contender. You know, to me, it's such a bad roster that he has so much to do to fix it. I expect the second season to be way better than the first season.
But did that we said about GBS that he needed 2 transfer windows to make this team better?
Well, I mean, I also don't think GPS is a good coach. They're,
I think so. He was, but I just don't think that has a mentality of
Not for
like
MLS.
yeah, I don't think for all the restrictions. I think he's one of those coaches that I want these players. And then I was talking to Kevin. If you look at I hate to say it, you look at the academy that the Galaxy is bringing out. They're barely bringing out players that are actually becoming good. Boca has a lot of players to choose from. If you look at the Netflix series, Pavon was not even part of the starting squad until GBS starts seeing him in play and practice. He's like, hey, this guy's pretty good. This guy's fast. Let me put him in. But you know what I mean? You can't compare that development of youngsters of Boca to the development of the Galaxy right now.
Yeah, and then yeah, and it all starts with the academy and stuff like that. And I think Greg he's gonna give an opportunity, kind of how GBS did. But I'm interested to see how involved he'll be with the younger players. But now we're gonna start wrapping it up. Any comments from you guys or anything? Any last topics?
Bruce?
uh, I'll go with another like a prediction thing for 2021. I think after this season, Araujo is going to be transferred, and I think it's going to be over. It's either going to be at or over $10 million, either to uh, Juve, AS Roma, or Premier League team.
I'll help you one that I think there's no fans, if there's no fans in the like by summer he leaves.
if you if Juve don't get what's his name, Brian Reynolds, who them and Roma are going after Brian Reynolds, who was a pro for 2.5 months for FC Dallas, and all the reports are they're trying to sign him for I think $7 to $8 million. to me, Araujo showed he's the best prospect on the Galaxy last season. I think he's, light years ahead of Efra in terms of being a prospect. And I think if Vanny gives Araujo the starting spot this season, more European teams are going to see him, and he's going to be the next American player to move abroad for big money.
Yeah, I totally believe that. That's what I'm saying. That if we don't have no fans and we don't have that revenue coming in for summer, I don't see Araujo staying here after summer. I think if he does a good paper and he's just starting right back, and he actually plays for the under 23. I think he's under the under 23 roster for the Olympics. He's leaving. A big club is gonna come get him in the summer.
I think that once you have the opportunity to sell him, you got to sell him high right now. Right now that the opportunity is there because you can't risk any injuries, you can't risk anything, and especially if it is around the $10 million, anywhere on top of 7, I think it's let him go. And then I think that's just gonna be the beginning of the Galaxy continue to develop players. I agree with Bruce. I think Araujo's like way more of a professional than Efra. Even the way that I see him prepare for games, or even the way he is, I just feel that Araujo has what it takes to go and play in Europe.
The fact that Araujo actually looks like a professional athlete,
Yeah.
and Efra looks like a 16-year-old high school student that eats like way too much pizza.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That but then again, Araujo plays defense. You're the one that giving the hits. You're the one that games ahead of you.
Yeah, but I mean,
Efra has been inconsistent. Obviously, he's training better. That's what we're told,
supposedly,
that he's training better. Then he needs to find a role of what exactly he's gonna excel at. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a forward. He's gonna be a cam. He's gonna be a winger. What is he gonna be at? He needs to figure that out, because that's what's gonna help him. You can't be all of that. You cannot be all of that, because you're not the Sunday league guy that can actually play center defensive. You can go play midfield, and you're the forward. You can't do all that. You need to find a position and be actually practice to be good at that position.
Well, that's like I made a tweet towards the end of last season where I was like, I feel like I'm the only person that thinks Araujo is way ahead of Efra in terms of like his ceiling, and I don't think Efra is like a top prospect for European teams anymore. And I was saying that's because he's not a winger. He doesn't have the speed to be a winger. He's not really a cam. He's not really a central midfielder. Like, where would a team fit him in? He has a good pass. What's that?
I actually had talked to my brother about it, and I think if he's not going to be on the starting role or getting minutes for the Galaxy should actually start looking to loan him out so where he can actually go play at a professional team. Meaning, that's either Liga MX or another MLS team that he's actually going to play. He needs to learn how to get hit as an attacking player. I think if you look at all these camps, they know how to get hit. Meaning they can see the hit coming and they can avoid it. Look at Ladero. Ladero's not a big guy at all. But that guy's all over the place. He's always on the ground, but he's not injured. He knows how to take those hits. And that's what he needs to learn as an attacking player, I think, for a camp.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, he's not elusive. He doesn't have like the moves to like, get out of the way of those challenges or anything like that.
Correct, because of the league that we play in. And the league that we play in is very physical, very contact. If you go play at another league like a Liga Mexico where they let you play at it, they're not really hitting you. You learn how to create space within those moves, and you know what I mean. Or that's just my opinion. He needs to go learn how to create space and how to get hit as a camp.
Yeah, and then like in that tweet thread, people brought up they brought up example like Pirlo was a player that all he did was stay in the back and just ping passes. And it's like, you're talking about a once in a lifetime player. There's, as far as I could think,
talk about vision.
Yeah, there's
vision of the game. If for the development teams, yeah, but now you're playing versus professional. These guys have the same vision. Your vision has to be beyond that.
As far as I can think, there's no player that I know of that is like Pirlo right now in terms of not doing anything but just passing. You know, Pirlo had two people in front of him to play CDM, but Efra isn't that. And obviously, I want the guy to be good. You know, I don't want him to be a bad player, but I don't see him. You know, there's all the hype about he was going to be the most expensive MLS transfer of all time, stuff like that. But at this point, I don't see that.
Do you think that is that comfort level? You know, obviously you're playing at home, you live at home, everything's still there. Everything's still the same. Nothing has changed. You know what I mean? If you look at Julian, he comes from what, like a 3 hour drive. He lives probably over here. He drives back and forth. He knows that, like, you know, he's struggling a little bit more other than driving 20 minutes to the stadium. You know, I go back. I'm at home. I'm comfortable. I think getting out of your comfort zone makes you either get better or tanks you.
Like it could either be that or just work ethic. You know,
Comfortable.
Araujo could be a hard worker where Efra isn't, and Araujo hasn't had the hype for what 3-4 years that Efra has. So the hype could have gotten to Efra where he's like, well, shit, look what Zlatan said about me. I don't have to put in as much work or anymore. He already said I'm the best prospect in MLS.
Yep. I think one thing they say, once you keep going up level, if you're the best player that year and you move up to another team, you're playing against the best players that were exactly like you. And then as long as you keep going up, you're playing against the best players. And if you can develop more, not always the best player becomes a superstar. Sometimes it's the one that nobody talks about because he's working harder to become that superstar.
Yeah, and then I think 2021 is a year where Efra has to step it up, and every minute he does get, he has to show something, show that he still has that potential. If not, soon it's gonna become time to start moving on for him. But we've been going at it for over 2 hours, so we're gonna start wrapping it up. Bruce, thank you for joining us. We were happy to have you. Happy to hear you share your love story and your experience with Liga G and all that. Thank you for being on today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And then Manny, we'll be back on next week at 9:15. So we'll be talking then. But anything else you want to share real quick?
Just Liga G Combine. Rosters are due on Sunday. If you don't turn in your roster as managers, you'll be waiting a 5-day period to sign players. So make sure you guys put in your roster. And if you need players, check out on Liga G Combine. That's about it for now. I think we have a little bit more news next week on some other stuff that I can't really talk about yet.
Top secret?
Yeah, just on administration discords.
All right, so thank you for being on with us, everyone that was able to catch the stream. Thank you, and we'll be back next week. So next week we look forward to seeing you. And apologies for the technical difficulties, a little rusty again. First show of 2021, but we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.